And out to the global energy markets, where negotiators from almost 200 countries attended the annual climate change conference in Marrakesh, COP22 in Morocco. For 2 weeks, it was an opportunity to showcase progress and start the important process of turning the United Nations Paris Agreement into a detailed blueprint for action. The negotiators affirmed the commitment to the full implementation of the Paris Agreement. Now, the Paris Agreement set out the goals and framework for international climate change action. Now, these include to cut emissions rapidly and help vulnerable nations adapt to climate impacts and build their own clean energy, sustainable futures, and near full decarbonization of energy around 2040. Let's bring in Head of Energy Research at Ecobank Group, Dolapo Oni, joining us from Lagos. Hello, Dolapo. Thank you for coming on the show. I want to start on this note. Just this morning, we saw in the wires where U.S. President-elect Donald Trump is saying that he is taking a soft stance on his plan to cut back on every climate change deals that the U.S. government under President Barack Obama had negotiated. What's your reaction to that?
I think it's a welcome comment because some of his comments during the campaign around it were very scary when he was talking about canceling U.S. participation in the climate deal. Because if you look at the climate deal, U.S. plays a very key role. Not only is the U.S. a very key part of the cutting of emissions because of the size of the industry in America and carbon emissions, but the U.S. also plays a key role in funding initiatives, especially in sponsoring programs to fight climate change, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and also support vulnerable countries, most of the islands that are affected by a rise in the ocean level because of melting of the polar ice caps. So U.S. plays a very central role. So, I mean, when he was saying stuff about canceling that deal, I think it really shook a lot of people. So his comments currently are welcomed. Let's hope that he actually does switch away from, he does actually switch fully to supporting the deal.
But are the world leaders doing enough to address the GHG, the greenhouse gas emission? Of course, the target of 2050 has been set. At the moment, are they doing enough to combat the challenges?
No, definitely not. Because, and that's part of what they recognize at this particular meeting, that they need to do a lot more. Because, I mean, most of what we are seeing now are verbal commitments to cut greenhouse gases, to achieve a certain level by 2050. But what this particular meeting did, which I think is a major step forward, is they've agreed to work on a rule book, which will then spell out all the key elements, the specific details of how they are going to, for each country, how they are going to mark and monitor greenhouse gas emissions, how they are going to cut it, what steps they are going to take, how they are going to implement it into their national policy, energy policy, how they are going to gradually, contribute towards the target for 2050. So I think that's a step forward. But the key thing is we still need that rule book to actually be drawn up, and then we need it to be implemented. Because up until then, all we still have are just verbal commitments to support greenhouse gases. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of countries that are using coal still use coal. Even up to today, the US is still 56%, 57% coal energy generation. So there's still a lot of coal generation around the world. So we need some actual action, and that will happen when that rule book is actually drawn up and implemented.
Okay, we hope that Nigeria takes a cue from that, as well as one of the developing countries hoping to also tackle the challenges of climate change. Thank you so much, Dolapo Oni, Head of Energy Research at Ecobank Group. South Korean prosecutors raided the offices of Samsung Group over its alleged link with Choi Sun-sil, President Park Geun-hye's confidant, who has been indicted in an influence peddling scandal. According to news agency Yonhap, prosecutors also raided the country's largest pension fund, the National Pension Service. Yonhap reported that investigators were probing its decision to approve the $8 billion merger of Samsung Corporation and Shell Industries last year. The raids took place in the city of Jeonju, where the pension fund's headquarters are located, and in Seoul. Park and Choi are under investigation for allegedly improperly pressuring major conglomerates, including the Samsung Group, South Korea's largest family-run conglomerate, to raise funds for foundations that backed Park's policy of promoting the cultural and sports communities.